Yo guys, what's going on? It's Brian and Jim from Drink a Beer and Play a Game, and welcome to the fourth in our series of Simpsons game reviews. Today we're going to be looking at Bartman meets Radioactive Man.
Released in 1992, this one was developed by Imagineering and published by who else but Acclaim. Why Acclaim? Because they did everything else. Anyway, this one was ported to the NES and of all things, the Game Gear. And that's about it. No computers, no 16-bit consoles. The Game Gear. This is another Simpsons platformer, so let's just get right into it.
So, the graphics. Can you guess what I'm going to go on a little rant about? Take a look at Bart. Take a good look at Bart. Does he look familiar? Well, he should. Don't let that costume fool you. That is the same goddamn sprite as Bart vs. the World and Bart vs. Space Mutants. You know what? Fuck it. Just for that, I'm adding one beer to the beer requirement meter for just pure laziness. Alright, so I'll give this game some credit. The stages look okay, and there are about 3 stages for all 4 or 3 levels, whatever the hell they are. There's a decent amount of colors and a lot of enemies going on, and this intro is actually fairly good looking. I'll cut to it real quick so you can see. So before I show you my score, let me just justify one thing. Yes, I gave it higher than the previous 2 games, but really check out this shooter level. You can move faster or slower depending on how you go, and there's really no lag. That's not bad for a game that's generally this shitty. So as you can see, I gave it a 6, Jim gave it a 5, combines for a 5.5. Even though it's maybe a smidge above average, I'm adding a beer to the BmRM.
Alright, the sound. I don't know really what to say anymore at this point. We've played through a lot of Simpsons games, and it's kind of the same thing every time. Here's the good thing. You don't get the same Simpsons theme as your only song. You know, the garbled, tinny, mechanical mess. You get actually different songs. The problem is, you don't get a lot of different songs. There's maybe about 4 main levels total in the game, and they're broken down to different stages. But even the stages, you maybe get 1 to 2 different songs per level. So, there's not a lot of variety here, but at least there's some. The songs in the game, though, they're still pretty mediocre at best, and nothing you're going to remember after. The sound effects are damn near the same as every other Simpsons game on the NES. There's not a lot to say there, but it gets the job done. I mean, overall, we thought it was just pretty underwhelming. I gave it a 5, Brian gave it a 4. We'll give it 1 more beer. Yeah, we'll give it 1 more beer. Maybe after the rest of the beers, you'll be drunk enough that you can actually imagine more sounds. Hooray!
Alright, the control. Well, I know you're all going to be really shocked, but guess what? It still sucks. Now, let me explain. You have a punch, a kick, and then when you collect lightning bolts, you shoot lightning. Other than that, this is just your basic platformer with the same shitty jumping controls as Bart vs. the Space Mutants and Bart vs. the World. I saw no reason to really give it a better score. For some reason, Jim decided to, as you're about to see. And if I had to guess, it's because he played a lot less than I did. And when he did play, he enjoyed the semi-shooter levels, I'll call it, where really you just have to hold, you don't even use the directional pad or jumps, you just shoot. So here's our breakdown. I gave it a 4, Jim gave it a 5, rounds out to a 4.5. And just for Jim being a son of a bitch, I'm adding 2 more beers to the BmRM.
I'll give the Simpsons games of the time, I'll give them some credit. They all try to do something different. But when it comes down to it, they're all nothing more than platformers. And this one is no different. Alright, all the levels, they all have a different theme too. But in order to really come across with what the themes and the bosses are, I'm going to need to do it in a slightly different style. Dateline! Bartman meets Radioactive Man. Radioactive Man's been captured and Bartman has to go and save him, thanks to Fallout Boy seeking him out. But first, he has to go against all the different enemies, including the nefarious Dr. Crab.
Wait!
What? I'm doing a bit.
Do you think Dr. Crab is the inspiration for Zoidberg?
Not only that, you have to go against a fearsome swamp hag. I hate you, Brian. I hate you so goddamn much. And let's not forget the aptly named Lava Man. And also, at the end, you have to fight Braino, the Magnificent. Can our fearsome cave crusaders overcome this plethora of evildoers? These dastardly daters? Tune in to the rest of the review and maybe you'll find out. or play the game, but probably not because it sucks. So I gave it a 5, Brian gave it a 4, and I'll give it another beer just for trying. So let's add one to the BRM.
Yeah, so this game was really a falling off point for original ideas by the time the Simpsons are finishing up their NES games. And it really shows. Literally everything has been done. I think the most original thing I saw when going through this entire game, check out this stage. So basically you're underwater and all the power goes out, except for this little block of light that floats around randomly, and if you get within the crosshairs you get shot. It's kind of reminiscent of the game Haunted House, but I've never really seen it done this way before. Anyway, as you can see from our breakdown, we didn't find this game original at all. I gave it a 3, Jim gave it a 4, and I'm gonna add 2 beers just for fucking lack of trying.
To be honest, there is not a lot here. Especially if you know what you're doing, when to time your jumps, where the blind spots won't kill you. The game really just comes down to a ton of trial and error. So we kind of have a blanket rule where if a game's hard, we'll give it points because you're going to have to try a lot to beat it, but we're not going to give it good points for that. We just have to acknowledge that it's there. So there's not a lot of replayability here. I don't know why you'd ever go back to play it, but who knows? Maybe it's a decent mobile title for your Game Gear collection. Either way, we both gave it 4s. It's below average, it's just balls hard, and you're going to have to play it a lot to actually beat it. So we're going to add 3 beers just because the game forces you to play it over again because of how bad it's designed.
Overall, this is just another wasted development from The Simpsons and Acclaim. It's just such a waste of time. There's nothing new here. It is playable, and maybe you'll get some mild enjoyment out of it, but you can spend your money on much better games at the time. One thing me and Jim didn't touch upon is the last goddamn level. No, I'm not talking about the bosses. I'm talking about the last platforming level. These bullshit-ass doors, like underground maze, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Oh my god, did it take forever. If you go in the wrong door, guess what? You get sent back to the beginning. It's just cheap bullshit and a way to waste your time even more. So as you can see from our breakdown, me and Jim, we both gave this a 4. It's definitely below average. Graphically, it's not bad. The sounds are but control, gameplay, it's all still missing. I'm not only going to add 1 more beer to the beer requirement meter, which will bring your overall BRM score up to a 12. So that means you need to get yourself 2 6-packs. Sit down, play this game, but honestly, after your first 1 or 2, you're probably just going to go ahead and finish those beers by yourself.
So this was, again, it's basically a wasted opportunity. So when it comes to beer pairings, we want to give another wasted opportunity. And we're going to pair it with Killian's Irish Red. You think a beer from Ireland would offer a lot more than it does, especially one with the lineage it has, and I know the history, so don't go killing us about that, but still, it could be a lot better than it is.
As always, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe or click like if you enjoyed the video, and why not check out one of these other Simpsons game reviews we've done. See you next time.